It started with 7 words. I think I need a little space. My wife, Melissa, said it on a Wednesday night, just as I was pouring wine into our glasses. No argument had happened, no tension, just dinner and a calm evening. I paused mid-pour, confused. Space. She looked down at her plate. Yeah, not a separation or anything dramatic, just a little distance. Time to think. Melissa and I had been married for 10 years. We met at a friend's engagement party in our 20s, got married at 28, and bought our first home before we turned 30. We had a good life, or so I thought. I work as an accountant, steady job, decent hours. Melissa is a freelance graphic designer, mostly working from home, with a small but loyal list of clients. We had no kids, though we'd tried a few years ago. It didn't happen, and we let it go. We weren't perfect, but who is? We laughed often, took weekend trips. We binge-watched dumb shows and cooked dinner together most nights. So, when she asked for space, it felt like the floor shifted under me. Are you unhappy? I asked her that night. No, she said quickly. I don't know who I am anymore. I feel like I've lost something. It's not you. It's me. Classic line. She insisted she wasn't leaving, just staying with her sister a few nights a week to clear her head. I didn't fight her. I didn't want to be the overbearing husband who couldn't respect boundaries. I told myself this was just a phase, that she'd come back clearer, maybe even more in love with me. But in the back of my mind, something itched. Something didn't sit right. The first week, she was distant but polite, sent a few texts, said she was working through things, but by the second week, she stopped responding as often. She canceled dinner plans, said she was too tired to talk. Then came the gut punch. I was at home, alone, folding laundry, when I noticed one of her work tablets buzzing with notifications. She had forgotten it in the home office, probably didn't realize it was still logged into everything. One of the notifications was a text preview from a number I didn't recognize. Can't wait to see you again tonight. I froze. I opened the messaging app. What I found hollowed me out. The messages were from someone named Ryan. They stretched back weeks, long before she asked for space. Flirty, then intimate, then explicit. Photos, confessions, plans. She wasn't just cheating. She was in love with him. Worse, she'd met him online, some creative networking event. She told me she was going to meet a new client for coffee that day. I remember, because I made a joke about hipsters and oat milk. She laughed. She was laughing while lining up her first lie. Over the next hour, I read the entire thread. She had told him everything, about our marriage, about how she felt trapped, about how I didn't challenge her emotionally. She painted herself as this misunderstood, stifled woman stuck in a boring, safe life, and Ryan. He was adventurous, deep, free. At one point, he asked, "Are you going to leave him?" And she replied, "I just need to figure out how. I want to do it right." That line. It echoed in my brain like a scream in a tunnel. I didn't confront her immediately. I needed time to think, and more importantly, to act. I took screenshots of everything, all the messages, the dates, the photos. I backed them up to a flash drive, to a cloud folder, even emailed them to myself from a burner email. I wasn't going to let her gaslight me out of the truth. That night, I cooked dinner, alone. I poured wine again, alone. Then I packed a small bag and checked into a hotel downtown for the night. I needed space too. Real space, not the kind she'd asked for, the kind you take when your entire life is about to implode. The next morning, I called a lawyer. I didn't tell Melissa I knew. Not yet. I wanted to watch how long she'd lie to my face. Part of me still hoped, foolishly, that she'd come clean. That maybe this could be repaired, even though I knew better. She came home 2 days later to grab a few things. I acted calm. We talked like two people pretending everything was okay. I asked, "Do you think the space is helping?" She nodded. Yeah, I think I'm getting some clarity. Oh, I bet you are, I thought. Then I pulled out the flash drive. What's this? She asked. Everything, I said. Everything, I know. Every message, every lie, every photo you sent to Ryan. Her face drained of color. She tried to speak. I stopped her. I'm not angry, I said. I'm not going to scream, but you need to leave. And you need to know that I already filed. Tears welled in her eyes. She dropped into a chair and tried to explain, the same tired excuses, that she was confused, that it was never supposed to go that far, that she was going to tell me, eventually, that it didn't mean she didn't love me. But that's the thing. Love isn't a side dish you keep while tasting the main course elsewhere. I didn't stay to hear more. I walked out, let her sit there in her guilt, in the ruins of the trust she'd burned down. The divorce took for months. We had no kids. So it was clean. She wanted to talk. I didn't. She emailed once. Long letter about how she'd made a mistake. That she was in therapy. That Ryan left her after 2 months. That she was lost. I never replied. That was 6 months ago. Now, I'm rebuilding. I moved to a new apartment, smaller but quiet. I started hitting the gym again. I reconnected with old friends. I even went on a few dates. Nothing serious, but enough to remember that I still have value. That I'm still capable of being loved, and of loving. Some nights, I lie awake and wonder when it all started to unravel. Was it something I missed? Something I failed to do? But I always come back to this. Cheating isn't caused by your partner's failures. It's caused by a selfish choice. The decision to betray rather than communicate. To destroy rather than repair. She asked for space. What she really wanted was distance from the guilt. But in giving her that space, I found something she never expected: clarity. And from that clarity, I found peace.